Yeah. Thank you so much for doing the interview with me today. How are you doing today, Mary?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can you introduce to yourself who you are to the audience, please?
Sure. I'm Mary Alexander, and I'm a naturopath, which is like a holistic doctor, if people don't know. I'm also a Reiki Master and a certified LifeLine Practitioner.
Mhm. Thank
And I
you
live
so
in
much.
Prosper, Texas, which is just north of Dallas.
Mm, it, did you like? Well, I was gonna ask you like, did the flooding happen near your place or no? Right?
No, no, no. That was about 4 to 5 hours south of me. So where I live in Dallas is so far north. We're pretty much an hour away from Oklahoma. So we're safe from the flooding.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Um, I have a couple questions. I'm very new to because I listened to one of your videos and another one, and it's
Hmm.
very new to me. What is can you explain what is Lifeline or what is mind medicine to the
Sure.
audience?
Yeah. So we've all heard of psychosomatic illness, right? The theory that, not the theory, but the fact that the mind you can actually think yourself sick. And so my thought is that if there's psychosomatic illness, then there's also psychosomatic wellness. You can think yourself well. And while I was in naturopath school a few years ago, one of the books that I read that just blew my mind, because normally we were taking classes on, herbs and nutrition and supplements and the minerals that your body needs so that it can thrive. But then I read this book called The Healing Mind by Dr. Irving Oil. And that book it was like it just blew my mind open. And then I read another book called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, which was incredible. Just this concept that who we are is really just an outcropping, a manifestation of who we believe ourselves to be, which is crazy. And when you think about the fact that the mind is divided into these two parts, the conscious mind, which is where you make choices, which is where you have an awareness. It's almost like if you think of the mind as a computer, the conscious mind is like your screen. It's just what you see, what you are observing. And that's only 2 to 10% of your brain. And then you have all this stuff underneath the surface, which is your subconscious mind, which is 90 to 98% of who we are. And so we're not even aware of these things. Like I mentioned on the video that I think you saw, maybe, that we have subconscious programs that are orchestrating every single one of the trillions of cells in our body. That's what the subconscious mind does. It coordinates and orchestrates all of our cells. And so it does that without us consciously thinking about it. Like right now, you have an immune system that's functioning, that's taking in information about, if you were at the mall earlier today, maybe you got exposed to a virus or to a bacteria. So your immune system right now is scanning your body, making sure that it's creating antibodies for something that you might have come in contact with. Right now, you have a program that's keeping your heart beating. Like you're not thinking to yourself right now, okay, heart beat and beat now and beat now, right? You have, if you got exposed to a germ, you would maybe spike a fever. You don't have to consciously think, okay, a fever would be good right now. Okay, fever, go. These are all below the surface. So there's so much stuff going on in our brain that our conscious minds couldn't possibly handle. So it's in the subconscious where it's just a program. But sometimes there's programs in there that get imprinted or get written in our childhood, and even while our mothers are pregnant with us, based on the emotional environment that they're in. And later on in life, these programs are the root cause. They become the root cause of symptoms in our body that we would never choose. Because remember, choosing mind is the conscious mind. So I don't think that anyone has ever woken up and said, today is a great day for irritable bowel syndrome. Today would be a great day for a chronic migraine. I choose that. Like no one would ever choose these things. So we know that what isn't a conscious choice is coming from that other part of our brain, coming from the subconscious. So basically the root of the heart of the lifeline is that all of the symptoms of our body, all of the emotional symptoms that people experience, like fear and anxiety and guilt or bitterness, resentment, any of these emotions that we would not choose, these are the root causes of disease, and that the body is always speaking the mind. And in the lifeline, what it is a roadmap. It's a roadmap of the subconscious mind. So it's a 16-step system that we go through, and we're able to talk to the subconscious mind with muscle testing. It's the science of applied kinesiology. So I can have a conversation with someone, and I know when I've triggered them by the weakness of the muscle. And when we go there, we take love, because love is the universal healing frequency. When we take love to that part of our brain, or that part of our body that's been triggered by a pattern of fear, a subconscious reaction of fear, then we raise the consciousness of that part of ourselves. And when we do that, our attractor field changes. Our body does what it was naturally designed to do. Like we're self-healing organisms. If I reached through the screen and sliced your arm right now, your body would know what to do. Like, I don't know how all that happens, but your body would heal. We would form a scab, which is like nature's Band-Aid. Like, you have programs built in that help you to heal. And when you remove the subconscious fear programs that we have going on, our body just heals. That's just what it does. It's really incredible. I don't know. I would love to know what your experience was when you were on the healing session with me. I would love to get feedback about that.
I want this because basically we have, from my experience, was my emotion. Like, because basically when you brought the subconscious, it was my emotion, because basically I have lots of trap emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't understand, because understand where, you know, the subconscious mind from, and wherever your you know, talk about belief and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about subconscious. And when you explain about it, it just opened my mind. And but the thing, that's why I wanted to bring you here about the healing part, because I don't quite understand it as much as I wanted to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I remember you said something, but I can't remember. It was in the video. You said something about, I can't remember, but you said something about I can't remember. But it had to do with the subconscious and healing, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when you were talking about the subconscious, did you read The Power of Subconscious Mind?
I did what?
Do you read the book The Power of the Subconscious Mind? Or are you into like Bob Proctor, stuff like that?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I haven't read it, but I know who Bob Proctor is for sure. All about the paradigm shifts and all of that. Yeah.
Okay. Also, how did you get into Reiki?
Well, as I think is many people's experience when they become interested in this field, most of what I teach and what I talk about is really a result of the things that I most needed to hear in my own life. And so if you caught me a decade ago, you would have found someone who was very angry. I had a lot of limiting beliefs about myself. I had very low self-esteem, things like that. And so it really started with me having my children. I have 4 children, and they could trigger me. And there were moments where I would just lose it, screaming and things like that. And so I just had this awareness, like, okay, I know that there's something more to me. I know that this is not the person that I'm meant to be. I've always been called towards natural healing. But have you ever had that experience where someone can trigger you and you react in a way that you just wish you could stop. But whether it's anger or sadness, there's just a trigger. And then you just, it's like uncontrollable. And for me, my knee-jerk reaction was always just anger. My son could get me so angry, and I just wanted a way to get control of it, or to figure out, God, what am I so mad about? Why do I have this tight feeling in my chest? And I need help with understanding this, because I know that this is not the truth of who I am. I know I'm meant for something else. And so it just began a journey for me of healing from my own past stuff. And so I don't remember where I had heard about Reiki. I don't remember anymore because it's been so long. But I was living in South Carolina at the time, and I heard somehow about a Reiki practitioner who was a Reiki Master teacher. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go, because there's 3 parts to it. Well, 4 if you want to be a teacher, but there's Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and Reiki 3. And I thought, well, I'll just sign up for the Reiki 1 and see what happens. I'll just see where that goes. So I went to the weekend long seminar and got my attunement, where they attune your hands for the Reiki healing. And while I was sitting there having my attunement, I started to see, my eyes were closed, and I started to see just beautiful lights, and which I now understand, of course, were the colors of the chakras. It's just an energy flowing. There's an infinite source of power that is accessible and available to everyone. We could never do anything that cuts us off from that infinite loving source that is the creator of all things. And I don't care what spirituality you are or what faith anyone is, or even an atheist. No one can argue that everything is energy and that we are part of it. There's this illusion of separateness. But everything is oneness. We're connected to everything in the universe. The same minerals and elements that make up the stars are the same elements and minerals that are coursing through our blood right now. Like, we are part of the cosmos, not separate from it. So it's that idea of energy that, and just allowing that energy to flow, that healing energy, that energy that is always benevolent, that is always life affirming, that is always good, that is always beautiful, that is always love. Really, love is all there is. And so that's what got me interested in Reiki. And then getting that first attunement and seeing those colors and feeling the energy that was freely flowing then through my meridians, feeling where there was some energy that was stuck a little bit. And in Chinese 5-element theory, we know that blood follows qi, right? So blood always follows where the energy is flowing. So with Reiki, when the energy is flowing, the blood then can flow there. And then where there's blood, there's oxygen. Where there's oxygen, there's healing. So that's sort of my Reiki story.
You seem like you know more than what you're telling, because I feel like, because you talk about chi. Most of the martial arts world, the kung fu world, the channel qigong, the energy.
Mm-hmm.
But my mission actually, to be able to actually tell, I think you're also into the law of attraction.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm actually into the law of attraction. I'm like really big on it. But I think that there are also like, I think that there's a problem in the law of attraction community, because I think that oftentimes people get stuck on about the simple stuff we already know. Because what you say is so true, that we are energy. We're the reason why we are disconnected, because people's belief system believe that we're disconnected with.
Mm-hmm.
um, I read so many books on religions and Wicca, stuff like that, and alchemy. They all say the same thing, but often people get um, scared of it. But my mission is to be able to get people who study law of attraction to take action on their dream. Because sometimes people say about energy, but it's okay, just dream whatever, but take action on their part. I think that's would be helpful for those people.
Yeah, and I think what's so difficult about that for most people is that we live in a world that is very much about hustling.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
you have to hustle, that everything is takes effort, that if you are going to receive abundance or money or anything in your life, that if you didn't work hard for it, that you're not worthy of it somehow. And I think that is a limiting belief that gets, that's one of those things. If that's the belief that your parents had when we were growing up, then that's one of those subconscious beliefs that I'm not worthy of money unless I work really, really hard for it and hustle. And I think where the law of attraction comes in is that it's like getting in alignment with the fact that it's always, always flowing. There's nothing you can do to stop it. It's just that we're not dialed in to the frequency. Like if the abundance is coming in on a very high vibration channel, 100.3 FM, right? But if we're way down here in shame and unworthiness and guilt and resentment, like that's on 92.4. And you can't receive the ever flowing, ever loving flow of abundance and prosperity and love and all of the dreams that you have for yourself, all the visions that we have for ourselves that are very high vibration, because we're over here only able to listen and tune into this channel. And so what the Lifeline does is you take all of the fear-based patterns, the stress, the crap going on in your body, and you turn it into fertilizer that helps to grow us, because we're always evolving into the next best version of ourselves. And when we go into our heart, like we had that part in the session where we go into our heart, we drop out of our mind. Our mind is so monkey mind, right? It's always like Groundhog Day. It's like same crap, different day. We drop down into our hearts, because our heart, if you know about the Heart Math Institute, the energy that's coming out of our hearts is hundreds of times more powerful than any nonsense program we could ever have going on. And so we drop into our heart, and when we make an intention, we ask our heart, what is it that I want to feel? What is it? I know what's going on. I know my reactive reality right now, but what is it that my heart desires to feel? Like when people just sit still, stop the hustle for a second and just listen. What is it that I want? Like, don't try to run away from what I don't want. I know what I don't want. I've given enough attention to all of that. What is it that I do want? So we listen for that. And let's say your heart says, I am confident. I am confident. So we put the words I am in front of it, because that makes it now. Not I will be, or I hope I am, or I want to be, but I am. We declare it, I am. And then we use that and we go into our imagination. Because there's a part of us where if you say right now, I am confident, there's a part of us, maybe a big part of us, that says, that's BS. No, I'm not confident. Look at my life right now. I'm falling apart. And because that's subconscious fear that just takes over. So what we have to use in order to access that new vibration, that new frequency of I am confident, which is very high vibe, we have to use our imagination. That's the gift. Henry David Thoreau, one of my favorite authors, said, imagination is evidence of the divine, which every time I hear that, I get goosebumps. Imagination is evidence of the divine. Imagination is our gift that every single human being was given, that we have the power to access that imaginal part of us where anything is possible, anything that we can dream. Courageous dreams, huge visions for our life. So we take our intention, I am confident, and we go into our imagination. I guide my clients to say, okay, imagine that your life is the highest expression of I am confident. And your heart, your heart beats with these thoughts. Your mind naturally thinks these thoughts. You're attracting people and circumstances to you that match the vibration of I am confident. How does that feel? Because feeling, I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Neville Goddard, but he wrote a book called Feeling is the Secret. So we get the feeling, and that feeling is the first manifestation, because what Lifeline is very much aligned with law of attraction, because Lifeline is at its heart a manifestation system. It helps us to manifest our life by conscious design. What do you choose? And then it helps to raise your vibration so that it changes your attractor field. So you're attracting, and you can't even stop the flow of abundance and health and wealth and goodness to you. So That's what we're doing in the Lifeline. And the key is to use your imagination and get the first manifestation. And when people feel that in their body, they feel that first feeling. If we stopped the session right there, we've done good work, because we've gotten that first manifestation right there at that point, very early in the session. We've changed people's, the set of instructions that each one of our cells is getting. So instead of all of your cells getting I am guilty and I'm not worthy and I'm poor and I'm all these things that your cells have been running on, you're getting a new set of instructions. I am confident. And how does it feel? Oh, when I live in that I am confident world, I feel warm. I feel tingly. I have an expansiveness in my heart. And that's the new set of instructions that each one of your cells, you can feel the energy flow when you step into that I am confident world. And so we know that there's healing taking place on the quantum level, the subatomic level, an energetic level. We know it's happening. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. As I was listening, yes, I do have a compilation of a Neville Goddard book.
Mm.
I love his work. It's because his work I love his work because he put the conscious mind is male and the subconscious mind is female,
Yes,
and the womb of creation, right? But
yeah.
yeah, I want to touch on the imagination for a second because I think it's important because I'm trying to solve problems that I think that it need to be addressed.
Okay.
I see a couple of. I know that people are into. When we talk about the imagination, I'm thinking about it's really expensive, right? It's big. You can like go anywhere. It take you, right? But so oftentimes I think that we say the imagination because I've seen with people they say they teach about imagination, but they would lock in with one subject or locked in for their belief system. And for my belief is if imagination is really that powerful, why can't we just expand our imagination? Because I'm a type of person who like to fantasize, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fantasize, I can go to the future, I can go wherever I want.
Mm-hmm.
How can people um, expand their uh, imagination? Like you said, you talk about belief system, you talk about how we were programmed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that because I said in one of my video where your program dictate, well, I didn't say that, but yeah, I said the imagination is where people use it wrong, right? Most often time to
Mm-hmm.
whatever they don't want, and they use it for what they know and experience. So for you, how can we expand that instead of like letting the imagination holding us back? How can we expand?
Well, do you mean that people misuse the imagination in a way because they are imagining? Normally, I mean, I agree. People are imagining worst case scenarios.
Well,
I don't
what
think
I'm
people are living
sorry.
in the future and living in fear, like playing scenes in their mind about, oh no, what if? Like, oh no, what if that happens? Or do you know what I mean? Do you mean that, or?
Well, yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, okay. So, what my message is like for people, and because I have never guarded, right? For instance, never guarded. People only study because okay, my message is for people is they only study never guarded, right? But so basically, if I disrupt their value of never guarded and say, hey, you should study Bob Proctor or someone else, but they they wouldn't study him or they wouldn't study other people,
Mhm.
and what my message is, if we talk about imagination, wouldn't be it would be expansive instead of contraction. Because if you think about it, if we're only studying one person, that's only limited knowledge, right? But
Right.
if we take, let's say, quantum physics and we put it together, and isn't nature like vast in imagination? So I think that oftentimes what I mean by people are like stuck when they say imagination, they um, like they believe in imagination, but they only study one person. That's what
Mhm.
make it what I mean by that.
Right. So I'm never. I always say that I'm not in the convincing business.
Hmm.
I'm just in the business of attracting people who are ready for me. So, you know, I don't know if you know the poet Rumi, who says that what you seek is seeking you. And so I'm not interested at all. I don't really give any attention to people who aren't ready for whatever it is that I have to offer. I'm just not interested. I know that there's people out there who are ready to hear what it is I have to say. Just like, you know, they say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so I'm not in the convincing business. If I do happen to encounter someone who wants to go toe to toe or argue with me about Neville Goddard or something he says, or with Dr. Weissman, the developer of LifeLine, and something he says, or with Wayne Dyer or with Bob Proctor, and wants to get into some sort of confrontation, then I'm okay with that, because I know that I don't let other people's hangups become my hangup. You know what I mean? So I take it as an opportunity to take, always, everything is always an opportunity to take love to that situation. If someone is reacting with a paradigm of fear, like, oh, I don't want to read someone else, or I'm not ready to read someone else, or I'm not open to a new idea or a new thought, then I think, okay, well, that's just where they are. The key to life, I really think, is just meeting people exactly where they are. Everyone is, and that's something that I think people need to hear. Everyone, children need to hear, you're perfect just where you are. Even if you're in an angry state, it's okay. It's just an emotion. It's just an energy. I think of emotions as children. When we have an emotion going through us, and that, what that does is it immediately takes us into this place of compassion. So when I and there's, I'm not saying that I'm a person who never gets angry. Anger serves a purpose. So if one of my kids does something and I feel that anger in me, I think, okay, that anger is like a child. I don't know if you have any children, but children tend to pull when they're little, when they want your attention. Let's say you're standing in the kitchen cooking and they're just hungry, they're whining, they need you. They're pulling on your pant leg, like, man, pay attention to me. And they start screaming. They need something from you. They need you to pay attention. And I, with 4 kids, I have the experience to know that the best thing you can do, if at all possible in that moment, is to sit down on the floor. Sit on the floor, crisscross applesauce, and look your child, your emotion, okay, dead in the eye. And just, what do you need from me right now? What do you need? Take love to that place, because as soon as you do that, all of those emotions are just parts of you that desperately want to be heard. Those, Carl Jung said these emotions, or maybe it was Rumi. I have to look. I think maybe it was Rumi. Rumi. He said these emotions you hear are messengers. Listen to them. The emotions are messengers. They're desperately trying to wake you up. They're in our subconscious mind for a reason. There's a past child, traumatized part of us that desperately wants our attention. They are trying to wake us up. They are our gift in strange wrapping paper. And they're there to awaken us. So they're just like this homing beacon saying, pay attention, pay attention. There's something to learn here. So whenever you're in that moment of pain, there's something to learn. And it's our job to just sit on the floor, metaphorically sit on the floor, just listen. So in the Lifeline, we had this process called a see, feel, hear, where we take whatever emotion we're feeling, and the way that we feel something, or the way that we heal it, is to feel it. So we take the emotion. Let's say you get triggered and it's like, okay, I'm triggered. What's the emotion? Anger. Okay, anger. It's not pleasant, but it's just an energy. Emotion is energy in motion. So we take the anger and we see it. We go into the movie theater of our mind, and we're just going to see the thoughts. I'm going to see the thoughts of the Mary of anger. And I'm going to let the movie start to play, whatever pops into my mind. And I'm going to say infinite love and gratitude. I'm going to take love there. And then I'm done with that. And now I'm going to feel it. See, feel, hear. So I'm going to feel. Let myself feel angry. It wants to be felt. Instead of judging myself for feeling angry or pushing it away, I'm going to allow myself to feel angry. And it always lands somewhere in my body. Maybe it's in the throat. Maybe it's stuck here in the heart chakra. Maybe it's in my solar plexus, where it's just affecting my self-esteem. So I'm going to let myself feel angry. Now is the time, right? Infinite love and gratitude. Take love to that part of you. And then we hear it. We give that emotion the microphone. They desperately want to talk. And if we just sit still and say, okay, anger, what is it you want to say? And we listen. Sometimes they say horrible things. Sometimes they say great things. It's like a message. And so we just give the emotion time to express itself. And when we do that, it's just magical. They lose their charge and we feel the energy flowing again. We can take a deep breath for the first time. Our muscles loosen, and everything's flowing again, and our bodies heal, and our perception changes. And Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So when we change our perception, our whole life changes. It's incredible.
Thank you so much for that. I was enjoying the whole talk, but no, I remember
Hours I could talk about this.
um, I remember now what you say, because I totally agree with your, because you were on the video or like Zoom or
Yeah.
video, and you were talking about perception, and I totally agree with what you're saying, because the world that we see are just a lens, right?
Yeah.
And I know that you said it's a lens which, how we act towards. I remember you said how we act towards others and how we act towards ourselves in the world, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's based on a program. It's based upon how we see, and I was like, wow.
Yes.
It seemed like you read a lot.
Yeah, I do. I do.
uh,
And I'll admit, I'm like it takes a lot because reading, I'm more, I like watching YouTube and I like listening to audio books more. I'm just part of me that, it has to be something extremely compelling to keep me reading, because mostly what I feel like when I read is I fall asleep. And so, but there are my beloved books that I have read over and over and over that keep me engaged. And so Neville Goddard's books are some of those. Wayne Dyer's books keep me engaged. Dr. Weissman's books keep me engaged. So I do have my favorites. But yeah, it takes a lot to get me to actually read a physical book.
uh, for audio, you listen to audiobook, right?
Yeah, I do. Mostly concepts and speeches and things like that on YouTube is what I love the most. Listening to Abraham Hicks and Joseph Murphy and even the Neville Goddards and meditations and just things like that. There's just a constant, for the last decade, there's been a constant ritual. And I call it my ritual of self-love. Every single day, I'm filling my mind with with um, with upgrading thoughts, upgrading ideas, self-affirming, life-affirming ideas, and it's just something that I do every single day.
I notice as I do interview with amazing people, just as yourself, I notice a pattern. People who are very open-minded, like yourself, they have a way of absorbing information, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like you said, I was frustrated. I back then I had a terrible reading, psychic lady, and she didn't particularly like reading books. She's more like a right brain. I understand that part. I understand, I'm more right brain.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't under. I wish that she understood where I come from. She didn't listen to my side. Where you say in the yeah, a few minutes ago where people try to debate with you. She tried to debate with me about
Uh,
the law of attraction. I believe that the law of attraction. It's whatever anyone experiences different. You can't always push your message and how people see. I think that people should be flexible enough to say, if this is my how I see this world, you can't push. Because back in 2011, I told the story where I had a heartbreak, and then it's where I go through the dark night of the soul, and
yeah.
then and then after that, 2013, that's spiritual awakening, and that's I found the law of attraction, and I found that if we control our mind or subconscious, our mood, your circumstance can change, and I saw awesome things, but
Yeah.
yeah, but my point is like I've seen it a lot with because I know that I come across amazing people like yourself with using intuition with a gift, and but you're still evolving. And I think that's my message for people too, that like yourself and people, they're always evolving. They're not stuck, or they're not, they're not living in the past, or and then also program, right? Um, I would like, what was your childhood like when you were, were you a grade A student, or what type of student were you in school?
I was an overachieving, straight A since birth type of person. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I was the smart one. I remember in second grade, I was applying. I was writing. I wanted to be a doctor. I don't know why. Just because I was always interested in healing. I didn't have the view then that I do now about our healthcare system and all and pharmaceuticals and all of that. But needless to say, I was very much interested in healing. And in biology and in the body. And of course, second grade. What I don't know, how old are you? 6 or 7 years old. And I remember writing a letter to. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and so I grew up. I wrote a letter to the University of Buffalo asking for them to send me a pamphlet, please, about their medical school, and they actually sent it to me. And I
Oh,
didn't. I didn't end up going to medical school. I started off pre med when I went to university, but changed. I actually ended up getting my bachelor's degree in government and international studies, if you can believe that. And then because of an accident that I had, I was hit by a car when I was 11 years old, and
okay.
because of some issues with my neck and jaw that I had, I suffered from migraine headaches since I was 11 years old. And it wasn't until I was age 17 that my mother, who was a nurse, took me to my very first chiropractor. And that was a pivotal moment. Now, even with the surgery and the pain and the headaches, would never take it back. I would never take it back, because it's like funny how you can see those moments when you look back at your life that were trajectory changing moments, and you can see how they have so much meaning. And so when my mother took me to my first chiropractor when I was 17, it again blew my mind open. There was this whole world of knowledge that it opened up my mind to, and I just started thinking about the body in a completely different way. Like when my chiropractor said, the first time I heard the power that made the body is what heals the body. And I was like, all this time, I thought that doctors and pills healed the body. Like my liver was so toxic with all of the prescription painkillers that I had been on since 12 years old. And chiropractic, I always say chiropractic saved my life. And I went to chiropractic school here for a couple of years in Dallas until I had my second child. But that really started like, wow, we have this what is this energy source that is this innate healing mechanisms that we have in us? And just that's some of the things that happened in my childhood, of course, shaped my awakening just in steps. I mean, like you said, we're never done. We're always on the leading edge of our own evolution, right? As Abraham Hicks says. So, yeah, I'm always just open. And when I think about where I am now, as opposed to even 6 months ago, I'm like, wow, that's funny. The person I was 6 months ago, and I look forward to the person I am 6 months from now and 10 years from now. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're never done. If I were done, I'd be dead, and I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. The image of we're a philosopher's stone actually, because I was interested in alchemy a very long time ago when I was awakened. But but the philosopher's stone, people are looking for the elixir of life. But technically we are, like you said, if I cut something happened. Well, actually, when the I had an accident too. Dog bit me really. Like it's I don't remember, but it was really scary. I was trick or treating with my friend and his mother, and then dog just came and bit. But
Mhm.
the body has the ability to heal. So basically, the philosopher's stone is about curing all sickness and all um, disease, right? So
Yeah.
I believe that the body has the incredible mechanism that long time ago, I actually have asthma, right? Long time ago, I used to get sick easily, right?
Mm.
But I don't like taking pills because the big pills is hard to swallow.
Yeah.
But my belief about pills is, why do we need to take them if our natural body can fight against it? Because back when I was in boarding school, I used to back then they used to give the shots for flu shots.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but that flu shot did something incredible. It made me sick,
Yeah.
and I most people will say, yeah, I want to get the sick away. No, I love the sick, even if I feel terrible. The reason why that was that moment point on when I got sick. After that, I think that my immune system becomes stronger to fight the bacteria or whatever that is. After now, I don't get sick as often.
Hmm.
And I think that too many often, I think that we take the pills to relieve the pain, but we don't let the, because basically, I think that if we, in my belief system, if we keep taking the pills, it will where the pills won't have much effect anymore.
Well, yeah, but what we're doing with pharmaceuticals is just masking symptoms,
Mm,
which goes against completely the philosophy of Lifeline, which is that every single symptom is a portal. It's not a problem.
mm,
It's a portal. It's a doorway. It's an opportunity for you to evolve into the next best version of you. It's your body. Your body speaks your mind, and
mm,
and these symptoms and conditions and emotions that we have aren't there to victimize us, but they're there as a feedback system. The only thing that we have is feedback. So your body speaks to you through symptoms in the body, and
mm.
your life speaks to you through the stresses that you have. So that's the only way that we can know. It's the contrast, right? It's the only way that we can know and get sort of a compass of what's going on. So if I take a
Mm.
pill, if I'm sad and if I've been sad for 10 years and I'm just taking a pill, now I'm not saying stop taking pills, disclaimer, okay, I'm not saying that, um, because there is a time and place for medicine, and I respect that. However, if we're going to take a pharmaceutical, something that was manufactured in a factory to help our sadness, well, why aren't we looking at why the sadness is there to begin with? Why aren't we looking at the root of what's going on? Why can't we just, and oftentimes I think that people take pills or are pressured to take some sort of pharmaceutical so that everyone else around them can feel comfortable. Because in our society, we seem to be very uncomfortable with emotion. If everyone's just not, like, if you see social media, everyone needs to be happy, everyone needs to be smiling, show a pretty face. Men, especially men, don't show emotion, don't cry, hold it in, you know.
I cry. I
Yeah,
cry.
yeah,
Oh,
me. I used to not cry at all, and now I cry almost every day out of one reason or not in any kind of sad way, but it's an overflowing of emotion. And
mm,
when we take a pill to stuff that down, I really do believe that we're doing more damage than good, because
yeah.
there's a reason why those emotions are there. Never cover them up. There's nothing wrong with you. I always say I don't believe in broken. I do not believe in broken. There is no such thing. No such thing. We are all whole. We are all complete. We are all perfection. It's just that we have limiting beliefs that we're viewing ourselves through, that also cause us to view other people through those same lenses. And Lifeline is just about removing those barriers so that we can see and remember the truth of who we are. The truth is we're an individualized expression of the divine, and we've all been hypnotized. We've all been hypnotized. We have forgotten the truth of who we are. So
That's so true. The reason why I also asked because for school I don't, and also about hiding who we are. I think that that's the world. They hide who they are. Like each and every day they go to a job. Like I mean, there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 for people. It's not for me because I hate it. But I would have lovely coworkers. But people mask themselves. Persona, right? Personas mask. People don't express who they are, right? As you grow older, you you mask who you truly are. Because basically, most of the interview I try to make it like not professional. It's not because I don't want to, but it's at the beginning it was professional. I was trying to do the introduction, like like the bio, but it become not fun. I think that most of the world, they live like stiff, they're tight,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
they're not expressing. So I changed my interview style a little bit. I mean, I don't do like today, but um, usually when I'm comfortable, or when whenever I feel explosive, I'll do expression,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but I don't do it as often. But the thing is, I think that people forget that even if behind doors, they're gonna do um, what they're interested in, but they don't show the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and oh yeah, that's where I want to get to. The whole society, school, because that's what I want to impact. The education world, special
Mhm.
ed, because basically I was programmed or labeled. I call it program as special education, right?
Mhm.
And I would see that as you, because I would look back as my kid self to now. I was like, why didn't we learn about the subconscious mind? Why we didn't learn about the power of our own self, right? I was
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was pissed because I had to read books. That's where reading saved my life. Because
Mhm.
I would like understand why is people acting, behave like this way? Why people think like that? I mean, have you read or listened to the book How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I know the book, but no. I've read parts and pieces of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Dale
so
Carnegie, right? Yeah.
yeah, Dale Carnegie. Yeah, it's so good. I usually use it most often. It works on whether it's social media, in person. It doesn't matter. It's people like to talk about themselves.
Yes.
We can engage in that, but it's so much more vast. But I wish that we talk about that in school. But also, I want to be curious about, because I never actually talk about or ask question about meditation. Well, I did ask about intuition, other people, but what is your meditation process like, and how you develop your intuition, or how do you hear your intuition?
So a few years ago, I was trained in transcendental meditation, and I did that for about a year. But I had been more traditionally meditating since high school. Um, I've always been interested in this weird stuff that's now becoming more mainstream. But today, I've sort of dropped away from the transcendental. Not that it wasn't great, because it was. So this is what my meditation practice looks like. So every day, I take 15 to 20 minutes and I sit on my bed. That's just the spot that's comfortable for me. I don't think that there has to be strict rules about anything, right? So for me, this is my comfort zone. I sit on my bed, I sit up so that I don't fall asleep. And I just close down the eyes and pay attention to my breathing. I notice first the breath coming in and out of my nose. And I don't try to control my breath in any way. It's all just about noticing. And I do that for a little while. And over a few minutes, I notice that my breathing starts to become deeper, starts to become more regular. So I'm just noticing. I'm not trying to control anything. And sometimes the word surrender comes into my mind. And I scan my body. I notice if there's any spots like shoulders that are tight. Um, and I just make those adjustments. So I'm relaxing. I'm just relaxing. I'm surrendering. I'm trying to get into the present moment, right? And that's my intention. I'm going to just be here now, right? Like Ram Dass said, just be here now. And so after that, there reaches a point where I start to feel as if I can't feel the edges of my body anymore. Like I can't feel the boundaries of my physical body anymore. And I know when I'm in that spot, it just feels very like I could move if I wanted to, but I don't really want to. And when I'm in that spot, I know that my meditation portion of the evening is going to end and I'm going to move into visualization. So I use the meditation to get to that spot, that it's like 0 point, right? Where I feel a oneness with everything. And then from that point, I call it vision casting, where I imagine a scene the end result. It's the whole Neville Goddard thing. Live from the end. So I imagine the end result. So I have things that are on my vision board right now. I have goals and dreams and things, and I don't do it to control people. I just live in the end. What's the end result I'm looking for? So I create a scene in my mind and I involve as many senses mentally as possible. So what does it smell like? What are my hands on? What does it feel like? Is there something that I can represent, that I can touch? Are my hands? Can I feel my hands on my desk? What is it that I can sensorily feel? What am I looking at in my mind? Just all of the, what can I hear? Who's congratulating me for achieving that? What is the text that I can see come through that is some sort of confirmation from another person that I have achieved what it is that I want to achieve? And I get all of the sights and sounds and feelings, and then I get a feeling, like an emotion, excitement, gratitude, massive gratitude, appreciation, expectation, just a feeling in my stomach of like, oh my God, I'm so excited that it's here. Like, it's in the present, it's happening. And I sort of just breathe that into the universe, and then I'm done. That's what I do. That's my process. And I do that every day. And it's like, and I call it for the people who are, I run a large Facebook group because I have another business with Young Living Essential Oils. I have a large team. And when I do mindset training, I talk about my 20-minute daily vacation. Like, I take a 20-minute mental vacation every single day. So that's like 10 to 15 minutes of getting into that sweet spot. And then once I'm there, imagination, because that's the magic. That's the secret sauce of life.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
As for people listening, I will always ask for them, because it's always for them. Do you have any fear, and how did you overcome it?
Oh, every day. I mean, we're human. So there's a lot of fears. And I used to have, I can't tell you how many times I've been to the hospital with panic attacks and things like that. That was something that I used to suffer from, and it's been 2.5 years since I've had a panic attack. Because I'm continually working on reprogramming with LifeLine, debugging the system. So I had a lot of ingrained reactions of fear that were part of my programming that I have worked very hard daily to recognize and to debug using this system where we go into the subconscious. You trigger yourself on purpose and take love there. And slowly over time, my autoimmune disease is gone. I have no more allergies. My overall health has improved. My blood pressure has improved. My emotions, I have no panic anymore. So yeah, other times when, fear is a part of being human. There's if I have 4 children and they're out in the world, so when I hear about a school shooting or something like this, sure, there is a part of me that becomes afraid in that moment. But I always remember, okay, I'm safe in this moment, and I run a LifeLine session on myself for that, and I change my perception. So that's what I do. LifeLine is a tool, and it's meditation, LifeLine, and my essential oils, which are able to penetrate the brain and affect our subconscious mind in a profound way. In meditation too. These are my big 3 that I use every single day to constantly be feeding my subconscious mind with love and with the ability to process and get up and out these deep emotions and reactions of fear, so that I can take love there and unearth them, and so that I can be have that thriving nature that I know I can have. So that's what I do. Of course there's fear, but I have tools to deal with the fear in the moment, and to not try to push it away, but to actually process the fear that comes up in life, just the way that's the nature of life. We're on Earth School. We're not here to be just walking, we're not meant to be just in ecstasy all of the time, because then there would be no contrast, there'd be no learning.
Right. Because that's what we're always trying to. Because I feel like when it comes to like the what we call it, our quote unquote bad isn't really bad. Like I was
No,
thinking,
no, there's no bad.
yeah, because I was thinking about my past. I always glad that I went through it, though I at that moment I don't like it, but I'm glad that I went through it, so it make you grow, right? Like
Yeah.
without contrast, you don't know the good and stuff like that. And also, I actually relate to you with your what was it, hospital, right? I would like have panic attack and go to the hospital. A lot of times they think I was crazy, but no, it's because I had also with my body. I don't know, like at that time I was trying to, um, uh, you know, I was really depressed, right?
Hmm.
And I try to learn some martial arts on, taekwondo, and I kick. I didn't, what was it, work out my body, so I would kick, and I think I ripped something muscle or something, and I panicked. I thought I was gonna die, and I
Mm.
went to the hospital, and I feel something with my body. I don't know. They couldn't find it, but I keep going there, and then I was like, crap, man. But I think it's anxiety, fear, whatever. Because I think that I heard one of my friend dad die of a heart attack. I would
Mm.
like simulate that in my mind. I think that we are humans are like simulating other people emotion. Oh yeah, that's what
Of course, of course.
we can feel people emotion, right? We can feel people emotion and how if they're feeling sad or mad or angry or
Yeah.
whatever. I keep noticing your bookshelf. What do you have in your bookshelf?
My bookshelf. Well, I have a lot of books about nutrition,
Hmm.
um, because that is part of, body is a temple, so you have to feed it the good things. I have a lot of things on essential oil chemistry. I have some things on just mindset and leadership as I grow a team with my other business, just John Maxwell type stuff of just being a
Wow.
leadership training. A lot of stuff on medicinal plants and herbs. A lot of mindset stuff. It's really all it is. Just yeah. It's and a lot of stuff. Some stuff up there is old textbooks from chiropractic school about just chemistry, and there's some spooky stuff like just akashic records and psychic stuff and speaking to the afterlife. That's another fun, just nothing that I'm not really gifted in that area, but I certainly am fascinated by people who are so tuned in that they can speak to energies that our senses really can't perceive. I mean, I can see auras and things like that. I can see one of my daughters in particular is extremely highly sensitive, and sometimes I'll look at her. I can see energy sort of coming out of her head and off of her hands, and I'm like, okay, I can really see her, but that's really as far as my gifts in that arena go. So I'm interested in just a variety of things, health related, energy related, spirituality. I'm just open to it all. Life is a buffet. We're here to
Yes.
enjoy, and I like to open my mind and open my heart to a lot of different things. And if I read something that resonates with me, I take it in and make it part of my own. And if I read something that really just doesn't fit with me, like I did that with religion. I grew up Catholic. I went to an all-girls Catholic school, and I just reached a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Like, no. Okay, goodbye. No need to be. I was mad about it for a long time. Like that was one of my big triggers. Was like I live in Texas, and when you live in Texas, you're encountering a lot of belief systems, and they just don't match with me anymore. But I think of Jesus now as just an ascended master, and I take the lessons. Me and Jesus are cool. We're good. It's just I don't want to really be put in a box of any sort of organized thing, because I think life is meant to be bigger. It's bigger than that. Religion is a beautiful thing. It can be a beautiful thing. I respect anyone's belief system of how they're here. However they decide to make sense of the world is beautiful and perfect for them. And I like the same respect in return, that the way I view the world spiritually, the way that I see every experience as a spiritual experience, I just like the same respect in return. So
I do too. So
yeah.
oftentimes spiritual people don't respect that, but
Yeah.
uh, yep. But you're a lot like me. I resonate with you a lot more with your curiosity, right?
Yeah.
I'm in. I actually dive deep into psychic too. I have a couple of books on psychic. I have a couple of books on I forgot what you say. Um, you know, yeah. Well, I'm into astral projections and stuff like that that people don't.
Oh, astral projection. Yeah, I've got to. I have some fun experiences with that too.
Oh, can you tell your experience with your astral projection? I actually want to hear.
Oh, well, it started when I was a kid,
Hmm.
and I would be in that state when I was falling asleep, and it was mostly, and still to this day, it's mostly those times where I'm taking sleeping in the afternoon, where it's not quite time to go all the way full into sleep, like REM sleep at night. So it's if I'm going to take a nap. I love a nap. I live for a nap. And if I do take a nap, I'll I don't know how it is for anybody else, but for me it begins where my body just starts to get these like like these waves of energy. And I'm very conscious in my mind, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, here it comes. Like I know it's coming. And I'll start to hear this vibration in my ears, like this electric sound, and it'll just get more intense, more intense, more intense, and I'll have to remind myself that I can still breathe, and that now that I know what it is. When I was a kid, it freaked me out to like all of a sudden be paralyzed almost and then pop out of your body, and you're like, what's happening? Like you can turn around and look down and you see yourself sleeping. Like, what is this? It's a crazy town. But so going into the library and just looking up, like, what in the world is this? I found out what it was, and in talking to some family members, realizing that there's a few family members older than me who also have experienced the same thing. So now I know, now I know what it is, and I know not to be afraid of what it is. So that's just something that I experience once in a blue moon. It's kind of fun when it happens. I'm not really into it like some people really religiously practice it and try to get into the astral plane and visit people. And yeah, but that's just not my main focus right now.
Yeah, understood. Yeah. Before that, the religion, right? Um, I am not the. I used to be Buddhist. I'm not religious
Mhm.
anymore. I think that I don't want to be tied to any organization or tied to any dogma belief system. I think that people. That's why I love Bob Proctor so much. You know,
Mhm.
when you, I don't know if you listen to his "You Were Born Rich" program. He talk about how people will always tell to other people that their religion is right while the other religion is wrong, but they never actually study other religion or read them. I think
Mhm.
that Jesus or the Bible has so many meaning for the subconscious mind, law of attraction, metaphysical stuff. You know,
Yeah.
and also Hinduism. Hinduism has so good like intuition. That's yeah. Hinduism is also start with all the higher self, the chakra. Um, uh, there's so many deep meaning because I actually want to go deep to the Indian side, right? Because that's where the energy stuff, intuition stuff. That
Yeah.
because basically when we're talking about energy and all these stuff that you and I or we understand, right? But if we take that to because in the Eastern world they understood it, but in
Yeah.
the Western world it's like woo, right? It's like, oh no, it can't possibly like be like that, right? Like they
Yeah.
become skeptical. But
Yeah.
in yeah, it's weird. Oh yeah, how do you develop your intuition? Because we were talking about meditation, but we didn't talk about intuition.
Yeah. I think everyone has the ability to, I don't want to say channel. Everyone has the ability to tap in.
Yes.
Everyone. And I think that all of us, especially kids, we come here sort of as clear conduits of energy. And when some people say, that book by Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God. Some people might call him absolutely crazy that he's actually hearing words, but I and as far as world religion goes, I really do feel like we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that we're all trying to get to the same place, and it's like getting to the top of a mountain, but you're just taking a different path up the mountain. It's all good, right? As long as I'm really not concerned with the path or the steps that anybody else is taking. But even atheists, I'm not bothered or triggered by anybody's belief system. But I do think that it's intuition can also be developed just through a practice of awareness, an awareness practice. You have to be, first of all, you have to want to. And it takes a mindset and a heart set of being open. You have to be open to receive. And anyone who has the intention of listening and the intention of hearing and intuiting, then it's possible. And it's just getting quiet, getting practiced at getting quiet, that meditation practice. That's just what I do. And over time, I find that my intuition, that third eye energy, and that third chakra, that gut feeling type of stuff, just gets better and better and more. I develop more discernment as I go along on my journey. It's not like I don't want to, claim to say I'm some clairvoyant, clairaudient, psychic, anything, because I'm not. But for sure, I can intuit things talking to someone. Just getting a sense of maybe if they're lying, or a sense of what they might be feeling. I'll get a feeling in my head, or get a feeling in my stomach, or I'll just start to see them as a child, just in what kind of pain they were in, or it's just things, just a hunch. And it's just learning. It's a process of learning to trust yourself and being open to receive the messages. Because it's like, again, it's an illusion of separateness. Like right now, I don't know what state you're in, but we're connected energetically. There's a connection between everyone and everything on the planet. It's the illusion of separateness. It's the duality of it that we are perceiving. But the truth is that there is no connection, which is why people are able to tap in and tap into spirit or things like that, because on an energetic level, there is no separation. There's an illusion of empty space between us, but there's really no empty space at all.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's why the classical physics, it's gone. That's why you put the the quantum physics.
Quantum,
right? Yeah. I was reading a while back the classical, because classical physics is like they separate the reality from us, the physical. But we're connected with each and every part of nature, or whatever that we want to call it, the atom. And also,
have you read the book The Divine Matrix by Greg Braden?
Yeah, Divine Matrix.
The Divine Matrix. It's all about the quantum field and the magic that happens. It's a very, very, very good book. So anyway,
I love that book.
Yeah.
I read on your about bio. For me, I want to give more for the audience and for yourself too, because I read it. I think it's fascinating and very interesting. Can you explain your key principle or for holistic approach? Because I saw on your website.
Yeah. Well, in essence, it's really just about understanding that you don't want to do anybody harm, and that the body is self-healing. So I'm all about approaching someone first as not just, because if you go to a regular doctor and you say, hey, my elbow hurts, they're going to just look at your elbow. Like when I went to the doctor, when I went to the hospital all those times and said, oh my God, I can't breathe, and I was having a panic attack, all they did was say, I'm going to write you a prescription for Xanax. That'll help your anxiety. And not once, never did a doctor ask me what was going on in my life. Never did they ask me, what my stress was in life, or how's my family, or they never asked if I was married. They never asked anything. Just here's a pill. And so I'm just dedicated to seeing people for the whole person that they are, mind, body, and spirit. There's no separation. And when you can't just individually treat, when someone comes in and says, oh, I have a fungus toenail. Okay, I'm not going to treat anything. There's no treatment involved. I know I just work from a philosophy that I'm going to do no harm, because I'm not going to give you anything. I'm not going to prescribe anything to you or make you take a chemical. What I'm just looking at is the state of your spirit, the state of your mind, and the state of your body. And then just have the client lead. I'll guide, but the client's going to lead by their openness, by their intention. What's your intention? I always just want to focus on where we're going. We're using food as medicine. We're paying attention to water and hydration and quality of water. We're paying attention to how much rest are you getting? Just whatever, the things that feed the spirit, And so there's just no diagnosing or treating. It's just doctor as teacher. Also, my end goal is to work myself out of a job. I don't want. I want people to become empowered and to learn and use the tools that I know, so that they can use it for their own lives and then spread that to other people. Because when we do that, it's like the vision of world peace through inner peace. We're raising the consciousness of the planet. I don't want to keep anything a secret. I want everyone to know about infinite love and gratitude and meditation and all of these tools that I use, so that they can make the planet better, make our experience here as humans the best that it can possibly be. So yeah, that's my philosophy.
That's so beautiful. When you say about the doctors, they never ask about what your or how's your family or stresses. Like, that is so true,
Yeah.
because I feel like most of the time when I go to the hospital, they don't care. They just, oh, something's wrong, or this. No, you can't just, like. I think that most of for me, my experience with hospitals, I think that they're crap,
Yeah.
and they just don't care. I think that if they make a better experience, they would ask. Cause see, I think that even if they're doctors, I think that they should understand how to, what was it, people skill.
Of course. And the thing is, I don't have any anger or resentment towards those doctors, because you can't teach what you don't know. And
Right,
they're not trained in the art of people. They're
right.
trained in the art of disease, and then what pill can hide the symptom of that disease. And that's great. Like, and I'm not against modern medicine. So if I go and get hit by a car, of course, if I'm splattered out on the street, bring me to a trauma surgeon stat. Don't meditate for me. You know what I mean? If my legs are broken and I need trauma help, please take me to a hospital, right? And I'm so grateful for the doctors and nurses and for the emergency care that they can give me. But then afterwards, when I'm out of the hospital, take me to, and help me to meditate, lay hands on me, good energy, help my mind heal, so that I can know that my body's doing exactly what it needs to do. Help me process the trauma that I experienced from being hit by a car and being in that hospital environment. You know what I mean? I look at myself as part of someone's wellness team. I don't mind if there's medical doctors on the team. I don't mind if there's a shaman on the team, but I'll be your mindset person on your team, where you can come to me and we'll look at and find and discover in a very gentle way the core limiting beliefs you hold about yourself, because I just operate from the perspective that we are what we believe ourselves to be. And I can help you change your mind, so that you can achieve for yourself all the things you want to achieve, and so that you can envision yourself as the person that you are designed to be. We're all designed to thrive, and we're all designed to shine, and most of us keep our light hidden away. And so that's what I
That's
do.
this. Doing this. What is this? I was like,
This is
what?
in American Sign Language, this means I love you. And
Mm,
it's a hand mudra. Just like you might have seen some Hindu statues doing hand mudras and different things. We have energy meridians flowing through us. And when in the lifeline, we use this along with the words infinite love and gratitude. And that's based off of the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. He was a Japanese researcher, and he took, the work with the consciousness of water, right? And I'm 75% water. I am a body of water, right? And he made he looked at the water, wrote the words on the vials, and the words love and gratitude have formed the most beautiful, symmetrical, amazing crystalline structures of water. And so when we combine this with the words infinite love and gratitude, put that through our energy field, it becomes a universal harmonizer. So that's what we're doing. When I say we're going to take love to those places, this is how we do it. We say infinite love and gratitude. And it sounds so stupid. It sounds so simple. It sounds too good to be true, but that's exactly what it is. The sound of the energy of the words love and gratitude coming out, and the hand mudra, that's the healing frequency, and that's what we use. It's our tool.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. What is your definition of winning? Now, before people, in the spiritual, because I see a lot comments, people think it's competitive, but that's not my. The reason why I ask a lot of expert on this is to see how they see winning. It's not competition. If that's what it's okay. That's like for Gary V, right? But
Gary V. Did you say the definition of winning?
yeah, how you see the definition of winning?
Oh, the definition of winning is living authentically. If you are living authentically, then you are not living in fear. You are living your truth. You are expressing yourself with love. And that's winning. Now, yesterday I did an Instagram story where I said that it was the end of a long day, and I had just finished teaching a class online, and I had done the whole day in my pajama pants, and so I was winning at life because I get to work in my home office, and most of the time I'm in comfortable clothing, and for me that's winning. So that's me, authentic me. I like to be comfortable. I like to be relaxed. I like to be surrounded with beautiful things. I like to talk about this topic, and for me that's winning because that's authentically me. So competition for me is fear-based. It means I have to knock everybody else down so that I can somehow be on top, which to me suggests a limiting belief that of unworthiness, or that you learned as a child that you only got love from your parents or from whoever when you were the best. And so, but I'm not about that. I'm just about being your authentic self. Win or lose, I don't even, that's not even in my vocabulary.
Well, one more. What does success look like to you, or is it the same like what you just said for winning?
So at this, and I think success is fluid for wherever you are in your life. So at this moment, for me, success looks like and I just revisited my business vision and my business mission, and so this is a topic that I've been thinking about recently in the last couple of weeks. For me, at this moment, success is what it looks like is that I have a client who comes to me with whatever they've got going on, and at the end of a 5-session spread with me, they feel so amazing, and they have made such a shift in their mindset and their heart set and in their life that they say to their friend or to their husband or to their mom, "Oh my God, you have to go see this girl. I can't explain what she does, but you just have to see her." That moment when someone trusts their family member with me is, I get goosebumps. That is the ultimate success, that someone would trust me enough to not know what the hell I'm doing, but would come to me anyway because of a recommendation of someone in their family. So that's part of the vision that I have, that my email inbox gets flooded with those types of things. Like when I get someone message me telling me how amazing they feel, that to me is the feedback. That to me, that is spirit's clear message to me that yes, you are on your path, girl. Keep doing what you're doing, because that's the ultimate success for me.
Wow, that's really beautiful. Thank you so much for.
Yeah.
This is really I enjoy interviewing you.
Thank you.
It's been a gift. Where can we find you?
You can find me. What's so cool about LifeLine is that I do it. It can be done online. So I have clients all over the world. My website's www.alexandernaturalhealth.net. And you can email me alexandernaturalhealth@yahoo.com. And yeah, I love to do sessions via Skype, via Zoom, via Google Hangout. It's very easy. So that's where I am.
Yes. Thank you so much. You've been blessed. This is really cool. Oh, I got recommended by you with by Wade.
Oh, yeah. And it's so interesting how things come into our experience. Yeah, Wade and I are just Facebook friends, and because I think we're probably part of the same, like maybe an Abraham Hicks type of mindset group. And then it's I love technology. It really does bring us
Yeah.
together, you know?
Yeah, I do love technology too, but sometimes most people use it wrong. For me, I use technology for my dreams. I think that people waste. That's why I say it's most of the time people get stuck on. If people always complaining about why things aren't happening for their good, is they're not looking for the benefit, right? They're
Yeah.
looking for what's wrong,
Mhm.
and I look at a social media as a gateway for whether your clients, because I see you're using your Zoom as a gateway for your clients and for your business, right?
Yeah.
But people don't think about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Subscribe to my channel, like my video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.